it is in fact working. Oh, interesting. Do you hear the music? Hello. I actually had hard muted my microphone, which was the problem. So not only was I muted, I was like muted. If I wouldn't have remembered to do that, boy, oh boy, that would have been a hard thing to work out. I'm assuming you can hear me now, everybody. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to hang out with me for a little bit. So, just before I started streaming, we hit the goal. Well, not the goal. We hit the big amount, $300,000, which is unbelievable. I'm going to say a lot of things, I guess, over the course of this experience, and I'll say it now, and I'll say it many times. It's kind of the success of this campaign has now passed way past the my ability to be able to express gratitude. Like, we're past that now. Like, I don't think I can adequately express the level of gratitude that I have. Yes. So, Bien Keon, my voice is very different here than in Overcast. So, yeah, basically today I've been trying to work and I'm trying to do stuff, but I can't focus. This is got to, for it to be done. I have just realized now that I messed up a little bit. I thought the campaign ended in half an hour. It ends in 86 minutes, so this is going to be a longer afternoon than I thought. So, settle in, everyone, I guess. If we're really going to go to the end of this thing, then I'm going to need some stuff to do. Let me turn on my... Oh, that is so funny. I completely misunderstood the time. Maybe if Jason sees this, he might want to jump in for a little bit, but it is pretty early where he is. That is, oh man. So we've got 86 minutes left to go. $300,000 raised. Let me knock that out there. That's really funny. Ew. Questions are good. So people having questions is helpful. Thank you, Matcha, for the congratulations. Petra says, what parts of Apple history are you most excited to explore on the show? I think there's like a different level of excitement. So I'm excited for stuff I don't know because I get to learn about it. Like some of the stuff that we've done so far, some of the stuff we're doing right now, like the macOS stuff. I don't really know a lot of the history that led up to like OS 10 and whatever. So that's been pretty interesting and I've enjoyed that. But I am really also very excited for the things I know stuff about, the things that I was around for, because I'll also have my own experiences of that time to add into the show, as well as Jason having his. It's already been interesting, I'm editing an episode, the second episode of Syracusa, and we're talking about Copeland, that was Apple's attempt to build a next generation operating system. And Jason talks about the fact that he was at the WWDC and tried Copeland. And so it's really interesting when we're doing the kind of more modern stuff. It's why we have jumped because we want to do some stuff that's a little bit more modern. Like, we were initially thinking about doing Jobs in Exile as the first series, but we've jumped straight to this, to macOS Crisis, because it's just a different timeline. It's more modern stuff and kind of can show a bit more of the breadth. Oh, I love getting some questions. We want some questions. Good morning, Jason. By the way, Jason Snell, everybody in the chat. I'm going to be here now for the next 83 minutes, I think. So if you any point you want to jump on, like, please let me know, and I'll bring you in. That's up to you. I will be streaming because this long because I misunderstood the time that our campaign was ending. Matcha says, how much is the rest of history and influence? It's a 10 out of 10 on the influence scale. Like, we're doing this show because we love the rest is history so much, and then we're basing a lot of the like simple format things on their format because it works so well. And then over time, we'll obviously establish our own things, but as like a template for getting started, it's a great template. You know, like recording a bunch of episodes at once, cutting them up into pieces, releasing them week by week, or, you know, like, and then all at once for people that pay. It's a fantastic system that they kind of devised there at Goalhanger. And so we'll say, thank you very much. We love your work, and we're going to use your system. If you could go back in time to any Apple moment and actually be in the room, what would it be? Says Fedorov999. Easy peasy. The iPhone. I would want to be there for the iPhone. You know, this isn't 3 devices. This is just one device. Like, I would want to be there for that. That room was electrified. Like, it's the greatest product introduction of all time. There'll never be anything better. I would like to have been in the room for that. These questions are great, by the way, and I appreciate it. Is there someone you would love to have on as a guest? Yes. I mean, there are like realistic guests and unrealistic guests. An unrealistic guest for me would be Johnny Ive. I would like to have Johnny Ive on the show. And we don't, for people like that, if we ever get the opportunity to have anyone who has worked at Apple on the show, it's like, I don't think I would necessarily be like, tell us all your secrets, but just to talk to them, I think would be really interesting. Someone I'd love to have on the show. I mean, obviously, all of our friends, so we're having Syracuse on. Obviously, we really want to have Stephen on to bring the incredible knowledge that he has. There's people in our sphere as well. I would like the opportunity to be able to talk to people currently working at Apple, like in an official capacity at the show, like talk a little bit about culture, the company culture and stuff like that. Is the England game on? I'm not at all plugged into the World Cup. Like, I'm not a football fan anyway, really. But I feel, I'm not sure what it is about this World Cup, but it just doesn't really seem to be impacting my life in the way that they usually do. Maybe it's the time difference. Nash says, having a Kickstarter that's popular, does it make you Oh, Susan Kerr, Petrus, is a great, like, talking to Susan would be amazing. Ask her what she thinks about Steve the dog bear, the bear dog. Man, I'm gonna get that right at some point, but it ain't today. Having a Kickstarter this popular, asks Nash, does that make you brainstorm on other creative projects? No, I don't have any other ideas. This is like the only idea in a long time. But it has made me understand that there are other ways to launch a project. Like, I didn't ever really think that Kickstarter would be an opportunity for us, and it clearly is. I don't know what that means, but it does mean that we have a new way of bringing a project to light. And it's leaning on the backbone of membership, ultimately, right? Like, that was the thing that kind of unlocked this project as a possibility, was understanding that we can do memberships, like pre-sell the memberships. That was the big thing that got us to where we are now. Yep. Well, I've just got a pretty convincing looking phishing scam, which is fun. You love to see it. Someone sent me a a one-time password by text message and then followed up with a phone call. That's very clever. That's very clever. I mean, you're not going to catch me. Try harder than that to catch me, but clever. If any of you have backed the campaign, thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. But also, as well as backing, the show will be coming later on in the year, and you'll be able to listen. I'm so excited. There's something I want to do at some point. If I would have thought, I could have tried to do this today, considering the amount of time that I set up, but now I'm not sure if I'll do it. But I want to live stream an edit of the show. So you can kind of see how that comes together a little bit as well. Because I think it would be fun to see like what the process looks like for editing something like this. At least the edit that I do. I don't really care about Wimbledon either, but the British Grand Prix is this weekend. I'm excited about that. So that's my sport. It's a big race weekend this weekend, obviously in my home nation, and it's a sprint, so there's races on Saturday and Sunday. And I hope for Lewis to win them all. But at the very least, let's get some British wins. That'd be fun, wouldn't it, for everyone? Podium prediction, I'm going to put the Mercedes drivers will both be up there, and then it'll be who's the third, or like the other one. I don't know what order they'll be, and I hope for it to be Lewis. George I think George is probably going to win. I think he'll have the extra oomph to get it done. Actually, that's a good question. So, will there be other Kickstarters for future years? Here's the thing. My hope is that, basically the vast majority, let's say like 3,200 people or whatever, are going to become members of Designing California, right? So we're going to send them all the information and they're going to sign up. My hope is that these people renew. The way it's going to work, and we will let you all know about this, you will sign up, but we're not going to ask anybody to put in their credit card information to Memberful. And so when it comes to renewal time, a year from that point, the accounts won't automatically renew unless somebody has chosen to put their credit card in. We will be messaging this out, right? Because we want people to renew, obviously. But if we get those renewals, we don't need to do this again. And it kind of is all dependent on how that starts to take shape. But there are maybe other things we could do. Like, we're going to do these 2 live events, hopefully live shows. Maybe we do a Kickstarter in the future for more live shows in more places. Like we used to do that for the Pen Addict. So I wouldn't assume there will be no more Kickstarter campaigns, but I think I can speak for Jason and I that we would prefer the show itself to kind of like stand on its own feet from a advertising and membership perspective, so that we don't need to do a Kickstarter for season 2 or a Kickstarter for season 3, that kind of thing. Because I don't imagine it would be as successful. Because how can I don't know. There's been so many of these. There's been so many parts along this time where I've been really surprised about everything. Yes. All right. So what else have we got going on here? Oh, Emperor. I've seen your name recently. Look, I don't really need to talk about this here, but I'll just say Gray is on sabbatical from Cortex, the same that he has been. The points that I've made in the subreddit, the Cortex subreddit, are the same. It's not my place to talk about it. Nothing has changed. If anything changes, I will let everybody know. So I'm not going to talk about this again. It's not my business, but thank you for asking. What else have we got going on? Yes, tiny head shirt. I mean, I love this shirt. People think I don't like it. I love it. But the thing is, it didn't sell well enough, you know? Hi, Stephen. Matcha says, my thought is the flexibility of 1 year seasons allows you to also plan content. Breaks could also be good since 2 podcasts. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Like, we just don't know what it's going to feel like. Like, maybe there will be, like, periods of time where we take a break or whatever. Because 50 episodes doesn't mean 50 weeks. So we're going to, you know, we're just going to see. The idea for us is, we'll put out an episode every week. But we could take breaks and kind of like play with it if we want to. We're just going to have to see how it goes. We don't really know how this is going to go yet, because we haven't truly started it. But it's interesting. We're like now. I'm like working with my assistant we're setting up an Asana project management database to run this show, which is like a whole thing that I'm going to be working on. What else have we got on here? There's a lot of Tiny Heads conversation now. Yeah, so Emperor, it's in there. It's linked in somewhere. People link to it enough, I think. The last time I looked in, I gave, I said my piece on it, and that's all I have to say. Stephen, you could try putting that shirt back on sale, you know. But I think we only sell 4 of them. Never made the money back for this t-shirt design. I'm actually, so Myke, I'm going to be away at the end of July, so who knows what's going to happen at the end of July. Maybe there'll be a whole new merch store up here. Naston says, will there be merch for Design in California? Yes, like there will be. I don't know when, but like our little friend over here, let me point in a good way, that way. Steve the Bear Cow, that little guy's going to go on some merch. There's no way we're not going to do that. I want a little embroidered like sweatshirt or something with that guy on it. So yeah, we will do merch for this show. I think that there are a lot of really interesting merch opportunities for Designed in California. We just need to get there. I mean, you haven't even seen all the artwork yet. You know, like, so you can see up there we've got the like exploded iPhone. That's kind of the style that we're gonna have for the actual podcast artwork. We're working on another piece that I think might end up being like the main key art. But then we also have what we're calling the eras artwork, which is our like per episode artwork, which we're going to use the really brightly colored ones with the different computers and different fonts and stuff to denote the time period that we're in. So you will have seen those be used in the preview episodes that we're doing. So Malaya says, I look forward to the Design in California Hackney Empire live show. So we do want to do live shows. It won't be the Hackney Empire. I have done some very preliminary research for some venues. This is going to be later. I would like to do 2 live shows, but they will be much smaller audiences. I think probably like 300-400 people audiences is kind of what I'm imagining we might do or try to do. We're going to see how it goes. I want to do live shows though. One in London, one in San Francisco. That's the dream. I think it's doable. We just got to work it out. I would be surprised if either of them were this year though. I reckon it's probably going to be next year. Because we really got to get a lot of stuff down and taken care of. So 69 nice minutes to go. $301,105. Oh, 301,165. Man, I don't even understand anymore. 3,259 backers. Gosh. I feel like my experience with this campaign at the moment almost feels like an out-of-body experience. It's like there is this thing that I am tracking and like observing that I'm excited about that is happening, but it's past this point where it doesn't feel like it's anything to do with me. It's a very strange thing to try and explain, but like I'm not sure I can fully get my head around those numbers. Zach, sorry, Zoe. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I got lost in the username. Zoe, I know, and I hope to be able to do more. Like I think this show would be a very good touring show. But we'll have to wait and see. And I'd love to do some other places in Europe. I would love to do some other coasts of America. Me and Steven always wanted to do shows in Texas and the Pacific Northwest, and maybe there's some options in the future for stuff like this. So yeah. All right. Oh, so Emperor, I use all kinds of colors. I mean, you should see some of my fountain pens. They look like this. And they're in every kind of color imaginable. Pink inks, purple inks, green inks, blue inks, orange, a lot of orange ink. Oh, I might have some friends joining this call. Let me see how I'm going to make this one work. Everything could break now.
Recording in progress.
Oh, we don't need that.
Recording stopped.
Recording stopped. Hello, you're alive.
Bang!
You hear me?
Hello.
All right.
I exist. How are you all?
Good. So we are both live on stream right now.
All right. I won't swear.
And I think people can hear you. So this is Jason and Glenn, and now I need to try and just bring you in video somehow.
In video form, yeah. Nothing like editing a live stream canvas live.
Well, and there's a pretty chunky delay as well. So, yeah, okay, they can hear you. They just need turning up. So I'll deal with that in a minute.
All right. Who's watching?
Hold on. So macOS screen capture.
Or where did you share the?
It's on YouTube.
On YouTube. Oh, so I should.
It's 53 whole people.
All right.
I'll send
Hello,
you the
53
link.
people.
Yeah. I like this. Guys, I think we're gonna get to 100,000.
I don't know, man.
If we're really lucky, we'll get to 100,000. That was what I said at the beginning of the
I
campaign.
don't know, man.
Optimistic.
It's like I'm a cockeyed optimist. I think we're gonna get to 100,000.
I thought at the start I was pretty confident you'd get to 100,000, but I thought don't.
You gave us a pep talk. You're like, I think you might
Fund. So just as some introductions, obviously, Jason, you may not know Glenn. Glenn has been around on the internet forever, doing various things. Glenn was
Accurate.
using
Forever
a magazine. He's done a bunch of Kickstarter campaigns. Glenn was our Kickstarter consultant for this project. And so Glenn has been a big part of the team and has been helping us the whole way along.
Thank you very much, you guys. I feel more like a Kickstarter concierge.
That's a nice way to put it.
Because some campaigns I consult on, I'm really, in the trenches and doing a lot of like building the campaign out. And some folks just don't want to get, they don't have the same, connection to the audience that you're doing, like the deep, mechanical sort of structural one. You guys actually work with everybody directly and run your community. And so some folks are like, can you just do all the stuff? And I'll talk to the people who are backing, but you do all the things. Yeah. And you guys are like, all right, tell it. What do I need? What are we going to do? What are the bits? And like, all right, maybe you should this and that. It's great.
We viewed you as the sanity check to make sure we didn't say or do anything stupid.
Yep.
And also, I would say the Kickstarter interpreter, where we'd be like, what does this mean? And you'd be like, there's a weird tab. And in that tab, there's another tab. And in there's a box. And if you check that box, things happen. And I'm not kidding. That is what Kickstarter's back end is like.
Oh
So
my God.
that
There's
was
a
very
demon,
helpful.
and you have
Thank
to answer the demon's 3 questions. And if you answer them wrong, then
Yeah.
you may be thrown into the outer
then
darkness.
you get backers. It's weird how that works. Oh, Mike's readjusting his camera. Wow, we've really just ruined this live stream for Mike, but in a good way.
I've done something, and now I don't know what I did.
Okay.
But I'm trying to fix that.
The
That's
joys of live.
Yeah. So that was
Hello?
it's been an education, but that's why we wanted Glenn to be a part of it, because Glenn knows the secrets of Kickstarter, and they have been really there was a couple of moments there where we're like, wait, you need to make individual items for the items and then mark them properly with their value, and then you've got to make a bundle with each of the individual items. And it's like it makes sense, and yet as a user of Kickstarter you would never think that. And there are always these things too where you're like, Mike mentioned earlier that when I was eating my cereal and watching the stream, Mike mentioned that we have had these like the renewal issue with membership, where it's like it would be easier for us to ask for everybody's credit cards, but I don't want to do that, because it's like, thank you for funding us, now give us your credit card number is not a thing. And so instead we're going to have to get people to do that later, but that's partially because there's this barrage with Kickstarter where like you get charged. And then there's even though it's all said from the very beginning, there's still that moment where you're like, now you have to pay taxes and shipping.
Yeah.
And we said you would, but it means thank you for giving us money, give us more money. And that's just how Kickstarter operates. And I don't like it, but we are stuck with that.
I've tried so hard to message this, but I'm just still really worried about it. Right? That people are going to be upset, but there's nothing we can do.
Kickstarter is like it's like a tiny. Oh, you know what? Kickstarter is like V'ger in the original Star Trek: The Motion Picture. It's a tiny little space probe, and it's doing really well, going really far from Earth, and then it just starts to, or maybe it's Katamari Damacy, it just starts to acquire stuff, and it's like, oh, let's strap this on and this on. So now it's this huge behemoth that's made of like an incredible number of things.
But it's good though, because they offer the infrastructure like to allow people to do it. So Petrus in the chat is asking us to sell them on the art print. So allow me to do some selling for you with the art print.
Yes.
So it's not just one art print, it's 2 art prints.
2.
They will the artwork will be the Kickstarter artwork. So the main art that you see on the Kickstarter, it's like the colorful Mac that's up there. There'll be the Mac and the iPhone. It'll say Design in California. Me and Jason are going to sign that one. There will be a second art print where the layout is still TBD, but it will feature, it might be in a similar form, but it will feature the illustration artwork, like the exploded view artwork of both a Mac and an iPhone that is similar to the iPhone that we've got above. They will both be A4 size, so like the size of a sheet of paper, on incredibly high quality paper. They're going to be printed in London. It's the same process that I did this. Me and Gray did this print years ago. And it was the same, all the same, printed in the same place. It's the place that we make all of our products in. And so it was going to look real nice. The color quality is very good. They're printed on what is the largest inkjet printer you could ever imagine. It is like essentially, it's essentially a very high quality inkjet that I'm not kidding is the size of a room. I've seen this printer. I don't know why it is that big, but it is.
Oops.
It's A4, a nice European paper
Oh, it's
size.
just a standard. A4 is standard. That is a world standard piece of.
Yeah, no, I looked. I have several frames that are that size that I have things in now.
Yeah.
But that's it. So we're doing 2
Yep.
for the price of 1, which is kind of nice. And we're going to throw some stickers in there too. Everybody who's got a physical reward
Yes.
gets stickers.
Yes.
Or a sticker. Stickers? Sticker?
Stickers.
1? Stickers.
Yeah. It will be Steve the bear cow, and
No dogs
we're also
involved.
going to do the iPhone and the Mac. So
Okay.
there'll be three stickers.
Nice.
No, B5 is small. You don't want B5. A4 is the way to go.
They're all golden rectangles. Or wait, are they perfect sections or golden rectangles? They're golden rectangles.
Something
I
like
think
that.
that's right.
That's the. There's my printing fact for you. All
That's good.
European paper sizes are derived from master sheets that can be cut in half repeatedly until you get down to like a pinhead size, and there's still a golden section.
Yeah. I
exciting.
believe there's a C2P Gray video about this.
There is.
Oh, really? How
Yeah.
shocking!
He made
Yeah.
a video about paper sizes. So if you want to
Paper
understand
that's
it,
the size of the universe. Yeah.
yeah, it reminds me of TVs. Like TVs are made like that, aren't they? They're
Mm.
they're it's like a big screen. How can they divide them up?
Could be.
So we're into an hour to go now. We're
Okay.
at $301,580.
I thought we were done at 8 a.m., but we're not.
Yeah, I also thought it
continues.
was 8 a.m., which is, I don't know if you heard me. That's why I started at the time that I did, and I was like, oh
Yeah,
no, I'm
'cause you
now
thought it
gonna
would be a
streaming
short
for
stream.
an hour and a half, not for an hour.
Got any keyboards you want to talk about? You want to build a keyboard live? You know?
This stuff, I'm sure we'll do. Well, now you're here, so there's less time. I have to fill this time on
Yeah.
my own.
Is there a way for us to see a version of your camera, like even if it's just from your monitor,
Yeah.
so that we can see you? Because I'm seeing you delayed by YouTube by about 5 minutes. So
It's
I
true.
don't know.
The
if
answer is yes.
okay. If it angers your
Yeah.
yay, look, okay, so we can at least see you now. And then I've also got the live stream going if people have more questions. You were answering questions great. Let me tell you, Myke, as your partner on this creative endeavor, I was really amused because some of the questions I didn't know the answers to, and I was like, let's see what Myke says.
There are answers, you know. They might not be the right ones.
Here, I'll give you the stat is
Oh.
that while the campaign was underway, you were rising rapidly through the podcasts and radio category
Yeah.
of Kickstarter, and there's some big gorillas at the top there, like 99% Invisible, and so forth, and a bunch of podcasts and things I've never heard of that are for very dedicated audiences in specific areas, but then keep going up, 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 and so right now it looks like you will finish 9th. An all-time global top-funded radio and podcast category.
That's
Kickstarter,
pretty
which is
incredible,
pretty slick.
right? Like that
Pretty
is
slick.
like very incredible. Like there are many things that are great successes of this project, like the amount of people, the amount of money. These are all amazing. But for those results to be in the top 10 all time
Yeah.
is pretty amazing, especially when like 99% Invisible and Radiotopia, they're up there, but we've also raised more money than they did on some of their other campaigns. Like
Exactly.
they're like
exactly.
down, and it's like we're just the little guys, is how it feels to me, but maybe not.
Well, it's the power of audience, right? This is overnight success after 11 years.
Yeah.
And it's like not like everything else wasn't going well and sturdily, but it's you build things on a foundation of building a community, of building people, of building trust, people knowing you can deliver, and then making great sample episodes to say this is the thing, and we can do it. What we need
Yep.
is money, because money will drive our ability to spend time and pay for production and all that. So it's kind of a winning combination of your long-term con is being competent and delivering. What a scam you've been pulling out.
Suckers liking things that are good that we try hard on and stuff. David Smith
Hello, David.
asked for my fabulous old history books. So, which of course
Ooh.
are in the room in the back of the house, the Jamie's old bedroom. That's where that's where the bookshelf is. So I went and got some. I have a giant DevonThink database that contains, because DevonThink, it's like a search engine basically. So
Yeah.
it's got, and I've got, through various means, I have gotten electronic versions of most of those books. A lot of these books were scanned at some point, probably illegally. I have a copy of all of them, but then I have a digital copy too, which is great. Some of them I bought myself as ebooks, and I can just explode out into an RTF that's searchable, which is great. It's just really good to have it be searchable digitally. Nobody come and get me. I have the books. I got the books. You're about to see them. But
This is
that's
like
been really
ripping
helpful.
CDs. You're
And
like
I had to do some wild stuff. Like a lot of these books were written so long ago, and then they were scanned by book pirates, lost to history so long ago, back when OCR was really, really bad. And OCR now in modern computers is incredibly perfect. Taking a scan of a page or a photo of a page and turning it into actual accurate text. And so I actually had to look up there's like a terminal command that basically strips all of the text indexing off of a PDF so that you can then properly re-OCR it in modern standards, because I was like, why is this OCR so bad? And I realized the OCR was done in like 1998. I was like, oh, that's why. So I've got that, and that database also has every Mac magazine basically in it,
Mhm.
and I got a bunch of other stuff in there, oral histories from the Computer History Museum. There's a bunch of stuff in there that helps me find where things get mentioned. But I am buying all these books, so like Apple, The Inside Story of Intrigue, Egomania, and Business Blunders
Who's
by
that
Jim
by?
Carlton. Jim Carlton.
I've never heard of this one or
Jim
seen this
Carlton.
one.
He
This
used to
is
be,
pretty obscure.
Wall Street Journal, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, there's a
Back
pretty
in the day?
obscure one. And I don't have an ebook version of this yet, which means that I might be like photographing it. I did that for a few things in my script, for the first set of scripts. It was like this, I want to quote this paragraph, and I'd literally take out my iPhone and take a picture of it and then just select the text and paste it in, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's when I bought
There are-
Text Sniper as well, like Text Sniper, so I could just take the image and go grab this text, paste.
I think there are
and
still
be done.
services you can send physical books to, and they will scan them individually for you and then send them back, because then you're
Yeah.
technically not violating the copyrights. You own the book, and they don't distribute
Interesting.
it. So there is that
Yeah.
possibility.
So if
too.
the pirates have failed me, maybe this one will go.
Yeah.
They
The book
not need
pirates.
to destroy the book to do that. Like surely
No,
some-
no, not anymore.
That's
They
incredible.
can't.
Not
Google
anymore.
did that though with their book scanning.
Yeah,
Google did
they-
that.
Now they have these incredible machines that you can find videos at the Internet Archive where the machine is like, "Whoop, let's turn the page gently," and like, and it does an
Wow.
overlay of laser. It does a laser overlay. Some of the machines with a grid. So then after the photo's taken, it can then
Align it.
de-skew and
Yeah.
de-warp the page. So books
That's
that can't be spread
cool,
open.
man.
We live in the future. It's weird.
Like
it.
Sometimes
Yeah.
things are actually
Well,
good.
maybe I'll do that with Apple. So what I was going to say about this book too is that, so Intrigue, Egomania, and Business Blunders. A lot of these Apple books are out of print because they're like, it's a business book, nobody cares. But also, like, when was this book written? 1997.
Yeah.
So this book was written right at the moment where Apple was basically going to go out of business.
The point of view isn't sellable anymore, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and so they go so they got great stories in them, but a lot of them have just fallen out of print. This is Fire in the Valley.
Oh yeah, that's great. I just
Paul
read that again.
Freiberger
recently.
and Michael Swain. Michael Swain, who was
Oh, I
the was is I think maybe is, I don't know. When I worked at Mac User, our managing editor was Nancy Groth, and he was her longtime romantic partner. And so like Mike Swain was in the magazine, and we knew Mike Swain, and he also wrote this co-wrote this definitive book about the early days of the personal
What's the
computer.
book? Is it Mike Godwin? Who's the not Mike Godwin? Who's the guy who became the venture capitalist after writing?
Oh,
one of the,
I've got that.
it's not Fire in the Valley. That's
Yeah, no, it's yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I have
that's
that
good.
one too.
That's good.
Michael
It's a
Moritz.
solid- Yeah, Michael Moritz. That's a
Revolution
good
in
book.
the Valley, maybe.
Revolution. Yeah.
No, this
it's
is Revolution in
solid.
the Valley. This is the Andy Hertzfeld book
Oh.
about the original Mac. I've got that. That's
It's really good.
folklore.org, basically.
To
Here's
answer
one.
ATGW, so
Yes.
dog cow is moof, bear cow rorf. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
something like
that's
that.
it. It's like ROARF, like how you've written
Yeah.
it. That's how we're thinking of it.
Roar.
Like,
So-
or roof.
Christina Warren on MacBreak Weekly and I have bonded about this one. It's on the firing line, My 500 Days at Apple by Gil Amelio.
Yep.
Oh my God.
You
That
know,
doesn't look like a very thick book.
it's not super
Oh,
thick.
You know what? I was thrown off by the fact that you've put the dust sheet in. I thought
Oh
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
only
'Cause
half.
that's where the good stuff is right in there. It's where that's the moment where they find out that Copeland doesn't do the number one thing Copeland is supposed to do, which is such a great
Yeah.
moment. This is the thing about this is Gil Amelio gets. I mean, look, this is a totally self-serving, ghost written. I mean, not really. The ghost is William L. Simon. He's right on the cover, but like biography about this.
Everybody can see the ghost.
But that said, there's some really great details in there about the idea that the CEO of Apple rolled in, the new CEO of Apple, and discovered that, good news, we've got this brand new OS project that's going to solve our biggest problem. And the most important thing in the OS project, the number one priority, is to have protected memory so that the system doesn't crash anymore. And then he goes in and says, okay, so tell me about Copeland. And they're like, yeah, well, it doesn't protect memory. We're not doing that. And he's like, what? That's number one. What? And it's like, oh, man. And then he discovers, he and his lieutenant, Alan Hancock, that Copeland is not going to work.
I expect that Gil Amelio may become the first friend of the show.
It's possible.
I think
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna protect Gil's legacy.
Did you
Possible.
get John's? You were talking about John Scully the other day. I met him post Apple. I think back in Well, I met him a few times because he was sort of involved with the creation of the Maine Center for Creative Imaging, a Kodak operation that was a hive of villainy and infamy and mismal and nonfeasance and corruption. Not my part. I was just running the computers. And he would come by there, and then I was at a conference that he was at in Maine in 2000, and just like a chatty, wonderful fella who seemed to have no regrets, which I thought was it was great. I wonder, he's 87 now or something.
He was at the
that?
Apple at 50 event.
Oh yeah.
And I talked to somebody who said that he's actually pretty. I mean, he doesn't. He has like a standard patter about when people ask him about Apple, but like he seems to have had a really nice retirement and everything.
Fun to get a comment from
Apple
him.
Confidential by Owen Linsmeyer, which is more. This is like a fun book. It's like it's laid out all fun with sidebars. It's like almost like a coffee table book,
nice.
not quite, but it's kind of a fun book, and it's got some anecdotes in it.
Oh, I saw by
I've
the
got-
way that
I got the Leander books.
Ron Johnson's
Oh,
book
yeah.
has been announced.
Ron Johnson's book has been announced,
Yeah.
and if with any luck, I'm reviewing it for the Wall Street Journal. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that one. I'd love to talk to Ron Johnson, but I have to review the book first.
Yeah.
I can't have contact with Ron Johnson when I'm reviewing his book.
And also, let's make sure we don't completely pound the book.
Maybe it's a bad book. I think there's such a great story to tell about Apple's retail. Again, it's
Yes.
on the list. It's
Yeah.
on the list. So I had Leander Condi's books like Inside Steve's Brain and Johnny Ive and all of that.
Yeah.
Leander, who used to work at Macweek.
Colt Mac,
It's a fun
right?
book.
That was Colt Mac.
And
Yeah,
and
the-
Cult of Mac, which is apparently dead now. I don't know.
Yeah, I
That's over
saw
Got
that.
sold or something, right? Yeah.
This is in print. You can get this. This is a relatively new book called The Apple II Age by Lane Nooney. Really interesting book. A strange combination of being academic and also not academic, and I kind of wish it was one or the other. But it's an interesting, cool book about the Apple II era.
Have you read all
And then-
these?
I have read some of them, and
Okay.
I have skimmed parts of some of them.
Okay.
So I just went on a kick of ordering things from Abe Books.
We need them. So
Yeah.
look,
And then
Jason,
this
we
is-
might cause a run on these books, so we've got to get them before
I know.
everybody else.
And
snaps
this
them up.
one, folks, this is the one. John Siracusa says it's the best book about Apple. I think I may agree.
Oh, really?
Michael S. Malone's Infinite Loop. It is juicy.
All right.
It is juicy. And again, the subtitle tells when it was published how the world's most insanely great computer company went insane.
Great. That's cool.
And again, when is it set? Yeah, it's set. I think there's a new edition of this where it was.
This is the one that is out of print that we want to try and get back in print, right?
Oh yeah, in '99. This is '99, but he wrote the whole book, and then there was like postscript. Steve Jobs came back. But this is it's a good book. It's a shame it's not in print. And I did
John.
mention in one episode that maybe it should be. So that's part of one of the shelves of the books that I'm collecting now. I'm sure John Siracusa actually has all of these books
Say his name
that I
and
have
he
and more
appears.
books and all of that. But
Do you,
they're growing.
There's not obscure book, but there's one that I really liked, which was bizarre, is Laser Raider 2, which is
I
a
have
work
that
of fiction.
Tamara Shopson.
Yeah,
I
it's-
wrote about it for Six Colors. Yeah.
Oh yeah, which is it's a fun.
About
I reviewed
TechServe.
it for Fast Company. I can't even remember, but it's the thing that's neat is even though it's slightly fictionalized and it has some really bizarre, wonderful sequences in it, it celebrates that independent. The thing that I think helped Apple for years was its independent dealer and repair network that they then sort of betrayed, and the whole thing sort of fell apart. And now there's kind of a different infrastructure of that. So I don't know if that'll be part of a story you tell, but it is part of
Every
We did get a
story is available.
We did get a request for something about the Apple authorized people and all of that. And
It's
that
a
was
lot
whole
of some of
story.
those people
It's
talk because they were so angry they would tell you things that they.
Yeah,
want
John Siracusa is
Zoe-
the chat. So Zoe
Yes.
asked about old podcast interviews, and Stephen Hackett reacted to that. I guess we could do like a soft announce here.
Might
Do you
as
think
well,
that's
yeah.
okay?
I don't know. Why not?
So the Debug podcast, which was Guy English and Renee Ritchie, both of whom went on to be employed at other places and couldn't do that podcast anymore. And that was part of iMore, which was shut down. The company is still in business, but iMore was shut down. And Debug kind of like vanished. Ooh, the Jim Carlton book. John Siracusa doesn't have it. Haha. I told you it's obscure. So anyway, a listener, this is amazing. A listener had saved all of the Debug podcast files when they got taken off.
Yep.
And they got those files to Guy. And Guy and Renee at the talk show live at WWDC, in fact, were talking about it. And they offered the archive to us for use, obviously as reference for Design in California. and we are going to put it up.
It's going to be
So
on Relay.
it's going to be on Relay as an archived show,
Yep.
but if people want to listen to those classic debug episodes for again, for research purposes, historical purposes, all of that, we're going to make those available, working with Renee and Guy.
Yep.
Those are happening, so we'll get
There
that
was,
that one back up, and then I've got it
a
all
lot of
transcribed and in
work.
my Devon Think.
Went into you and Stephen trying to
The
untangle
numbering
their RSS
system.
feeds.
The numbering system of that podcast was eclectic, and that is just
Eclectic.
a nice way of putting it. Let's just say.
Fibonacci numbers are a perfectly reasonable way to
I
number
think
podcast
if you listen to the episodes, and they ever say what the episode number is, I guarantee you it will not match
It's not that
what
number.
is the number in our CMS. It will
No.
not, because we're not observing the point numbering system. They're just going to be
No, and they
put
had
up.
ones that are out of order.
Yeah. So that's going to
Be
be
like
a thing.
13 and then 12.
I think for later on, and I'm hoping that we might be able to do more of that. That there are other podcasts that I can't think of any off the top of my head that like might be similar to Debug, and like they contain things that will be of use to us, but they
Maybe
don't
we'll get
exist
a,
anymore. We'll be able to rehost them.
That would be cool. Maybe we'll make contact with Michael S. Malone and do a Kickstarter to get Infinite Loop back in
Man,
print.
now that would be awesome.
wait, what? Hey, I'm right here. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think that would be really. I think
It's very
I
feasible.
think
He may own the rights to spend how many years?
I
30
hope
years?
I have many hopes for this show, but one of the things that I hope is that it will be popular enough that will be able to do things like this. That we will be able to do things for Apple history that otherwise haven't been done. I think that would be really wonderful. But who knows? I mean, this is the whole thing. Like, we'll talk about this as time goes on. We have to launch this podcast. Like, that's the thing that we still need to do. And I don't know how that's going to go.
and I know Mike touched on some of this. He mentioned the Asana project management, but like one of the things that's different about this podcast from other podcasts we do is we have the great luxury of having time to work on it, which is good because it's not timely like all the other ones we do. But it adds to the complexity of like we're building a process, and it's a process that is not like a process like Mike has experienced these processes when he's doing physical products, right? Because there's lots of milestones and stuff. And I am tapping all of my memory of what it was like to do a magazine every month, right? Where you had to have a fairly rigid schedule, and things are like in the queue, they're backing up. So you've got the stuff you're working on for 1 month out, and you're putting the current one to bed, and then there's also the pre-work on the one before that, and they all have to kind of like keep coming in like planes landing. And we're building from nothing, inventing and building a process to do this. So it's not just like Jason write the scripts, although that's a big part of it. That's a huge part of it. But it's also like, how does the video generation work? What is the audio edit going to be like? Do we have a process for having people cross-check the scripts in advance, which I want, and we're gonna actually build something to do that, so that I can get some subject matter experts to look at the scripts and just give it a pass and say, does this hit you right, or does something seem wrong here? All of that is stuff that we can do, but we have to come up with it. So that's one of the reasons why it's this great luxury that Kickstarter is giving us, because all of Mike and my like spider senses are like, the campaign ends, the podcast launches that day, right?
Yeah.
And that's not how Kickstarter works. The campaign ends, and then, I mean, we've been working obviously since before it even started, and certainly after we funded on day one to work on this. But like we are still working on it, and we'll be working through the summer on it so that we can launch it.
The work for this project began on April 2nd or whatever it was. Like the day after episode 609 of Upgrade was when that we started the work on this project.
Yeah.
Of like trying to work out if we could do this.
Right. And that was because that was the proof of concept.
Yep.
Right down to the script.
And we just fell in love with it. We just enjoyed doing it so much.
Petrus points out that this is a Kickstarter by me, so I could take the money and run.
Yeah.
Not too late. Great.
Correct.
Good to know.
Correct.
See you
That
later.
was part of my advice to you, of course.
Yeah,
Free
it
time.
turns out Glenn
Picture of
was
free time.
just get a postcard.
Mike, don't listen.
Having a good time in
Maybe
Rio.
Patagonia.
We've got 39 minutes to go. $302,390, 3,270 backers.
So as a book person, people have been asking, are you going to write a book? And I realize you're going to read 10,000 books, but it is an interesting thing. This is kind of I was telling a mutual friend, hey, look how well this campaign's doing. This gives them so much headroom to do things. And he said, well, what are they going to do with all the extra money? And I said, what aren't they going to do? But I'm like, you guys are founding a multi-year business with this kind of money. This, I'm not making commitments for you, but it gives you the freedom to do stuff in year one, and then also figure out a long-term plan, because you're not going, we have to get the renewals to be able to afford to do this again. You have options. But one of those things, of course, is going to be like, well, in the process of doing all this research, you're going to wind up doing original research, and that's what forms new books. And so, is that in your mind that you might do a new book at some point, or is that too daunting while you're facing the first year of this to even think about?
I would say too daunting. One of the things that I've tried to approach this, at least for this project, is no original research. We may get there. We may fall into that hole, but like there are so many books, so many magazines, so many oral histories. There's so much work that's been done. And the truth is, I'm going to take it back to the rest is history. Those guys are historians. Yeah. They do that for a living. But when they're doing that show, they are consulting the references. They're consulting the people who've done the research in the books. Now, they've written their own books, but their books, you write a book and then you spend 4 years researching the next book and you write another book. Right. A podcast with 50 episodes in a year can't be done like that. It just can't. So they're the proof. So you rely on the sources. There are lots of sources. The value, I think, in doing this is I've got a brain that's been kind of calibrated on Apple stuff for 30 years. And I've got all these sources, all of which are telling facets of the story, a lot of which are not available. Like, I mean, I can assume that lots of people have read the Steve Jobs biography or maybe have read David Pogue's book, but a lot of these things are out of print. There's stories people don't remember. And so where I'm trying to add value here is like find stories that feel like this is an interesting story to tell with a lot of interesting details. And some of it's in this book and some of it's in that book. And there's this magazine and I had this personal experience and we wrap it all up and that's what we do. I don't think in that process there's a lot of room for original research, which is not to say that it won't happen.
We're also not going in order. So like trying to tell a story in a book would take multiple years of the show before Jason would even have an idea. I could imagine us doing like a script book, which could be fun.
Could be.
Of like a year of the show, but those are like that's like we've got to make a podcast.
That's ask me in a year stuff. I've been saying a lot of what I say to Myke is ask me in a year.
Ask me in a year.
And we'll see. But I think that this is the proof of concept. But the stuff will come out of the woodwork. I think I've already learned that there's a moment in one of our episodes where all the books say, and especially the Michael Moritz book, says that on that flight that I didn't even know existed before, right? And then by cross-checking all of the sources, I got that it was like a TWA flight, a red eye. It was from San Francisco to Philadelphia, and then they went to the PC-75 conference in Atlantic City. And these books all have different versions of that story in them. And the Processor Technologies people, who are their arch enemies, who had the suits and a sales staff and all of that, were sitting right behind Jobs and Wozniak. And in Michael Moritz's book, it says that Lee Felsenstein of Processor Technology was behind them looking at it. And I got an email from Harry McCracken, who did an oral history of Apple's 50th. Harry McCracken, who used to be my counterpart at PC World and now works at Fast Company. And Harry said, I talked to Lee Felsenstein. He says that he wasn't on that plane and he doesn't know why Michael Moritz wrote that. So stuff like that's going to happen, which is not quite original research, but like I think facts like that have not been reported or that come from somebody who knows something will fall through. But the goal, we couldn't do what we're doing if every episode was original research. It's more trying to draw from all the disparate sources and tell these stories in an engaging way. Yep. So that's my plan.
One of the things that can come out too is I've heard from a lot of people who, they start down a path and then people find out they're working on something, and you guys will be very public about it because we publish the episodes. They go, I have an unpublished manuscript about my time at Apple. Would you like to take a look at it? Or these oral interviews you didn't know existed. They were never transcribed. Here you go.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. That's
Yeah.
how Susan Orlean's Rin Tin Tin, she was thinking about writing a book, and then she found at the Riverside Library, or a library in Riverside, California, had the unpublished 800-page manuscript of the guy who was Rin Tin Tin's promoter, owner over the years, and that's what formed the book, and no one had ever found it before. So there may be some things that pop up like that too.
Yeah, that for sure. I expect that to happen, and that as I go, I should also say I've been in touch with the Computer History Museum, the historian there who helped David Pogue out a little bit. He's really excited to look at my scripts, which is awesome. I think we're going to make a donation to the Computer History Museum. Myke doesn't know that. We're going to make a donation to the Computer History Museum, and he's going to help us.
Can we get the Designed in California wing?
Oh, well, maybe like a folding chair.
Maybe like a bathroom or something.
Exactly. But so that's stuff is going to fall out. I think you're right. The idea that there turns out there's a trove of interviews that happen somewhere, or somebody's got like a VHS tape with a thing on it that's super rare, which is actually, it's a good segue into a question about the video version.
Yep. Darksmack asks, have you finalized how the video version will work? Are you going to use visual aids or just talking heads?
So the way the video version is going to work, I've got a tool that I've built or am building. I mean, I spent like 2 hours on it yesterday using Claude Code to do a thing that nobody does, that there's no app to do. So I had to build it myself with my alligator friend. And it was, it takes our edit in Logic, our audio edit, because we're audio first. That's our, we're like fundamentally audio first. And takes the video source of our recording and generates a video version.
Yep.
That's
that
is a perfectly mapped to the audio version. Like literally the video version, all the audio is turned off on the video. You're just hearing the podcast edit and it matches. And then it needs cleanup and a bunch of stuff. So that's the start. And then, now this is one of those things about like when we said it was 60,000, it was like the minimum possible to do anything. And it would have been nothing like this. But now that we've funded at, we're over 300,000 now. Well, I'm going to give Jamie, who does our videos, I'm going to give her a budget to like, we're going to do some photo research. That's going to be part of her job now too. And if we need to, license a historical photo from Getty Images or the San Francisco Chronicle or wherever, and use those to illustrate it, we will. Also, some eras, there's like video clips of stuff, and we're going to be able to put those in as audio clips in the audio edition and video clips in the video edition.
Well, I started building a tool to do this. So yesterday I started work on this, and so I will eventually get there to a point where I will be able to take a video or a podcast, transcribe it, select the text from the transcription, and have it create an audio and video clip. So then I can use the audio clip in the podcast and can give the video clip to Jamie.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's an amazing thing that raising this money allows you to do as well, which is licensing stuff. Like right now, I mean, this is a lot of us rely on not just public domain, but like sort of fair use and so forth. But there's some stuff you might want to put in a video. You're like, this is this thing. And it would cost us, I don't know, like $200 to put in this 20-second video clip that we think would illustrate something. And now it's like, if you want to spend the $200, you can spend it, right? It's not onerous, but in that, I mean, that may or may not be in your plans, but it's something that opens up the possibility to include more footage that's licensable, since most modern stuff has some copyright or it's hard to obtain unless you go to the source and license it and all that too.
Yeah.
Even for fair use purposes.
Yeah. So that's the video. Again, plans are all forming, but we hope that the video is good. And our other hope is that we're going to be able to do this video, unlike Upgrade, which has a completely different process. Our hope, and again, we're just hoping now, so just sharing, it can't be a promise because we're not 100% yet, but our hope is we'll be able to deliver it in video in Apple Podcasts and Spotify. and that members will be able to get a video version for members
Yeah.
as a part of that.
Yeah.
Details to come, but
Yeah.
that's the idea, is that because upgrade, we just do one version and it's the non-member version, and we put it on YouTube,
And it
like,
has its own edit path. So like
and it's edited completely separately. Yeah.
the audio
Yeah.
edit
Doesn't
and the
match.
video edit are different.
Yeah. And it doesn't sound as good
Doesn't sound
because
as
it's the
good.
video version.
Yeah.
But the Apple and Spotify approaches to podcasts require the audio and video versions to be identical.
Which makes sense for the user experience because you
Right, because you
do
could
the
toggle
switching,
video on and
which
off.
is amazing. Like it's an incredible feature.
But when we tried it, what it meant was that our
the
audio
sounded
that we
terrible.
the audio edit we sweat on wasn't used.
No.
And they just used the kind of more basic video version of the audio edit, which is not what we wanted.
I don't know how Apple works in that regard, but with Spotify, I think Spotify might be changing anyway, but you don't actually upload an audio version. You upload a video, and then the audio from the video replaces your audio.
Yes.
And
if you do upload an audio, the audio from the video track replaces it.
And
so it doesn't matter.
With Apple, it's using two separate files, I believe, is how it works. Because you have to go into Podcast Connect and do it afterwards. Or maybe it also does the replacement. Not sure. This is a good question. Matcha says, are you planning on doing shorts and promos for the show? Yes.
Sure. Yep.
This is something that I'm looking at, some tools that can do this kind of stuff, and is something else that I would want our video editor Jamie to help us with.
Once it's rolling, we are going to really approach this like any relay show, which means we want to promote it. We think, I mean, look, this Kickstarter shows that our intuition that this had a broader audience, I think was right, because we've reached a really great number of members and stuff as a part of this. But I do believe that in the long run, there's an even broader audience to be found out in the world, but we have to do the work to get there, because I think that people will be interested in the content.
I think
so. That's part of that, and then that's the ongoing. I mean, this comes back to like. Then it's an ongoing show, and there's the free version and there's the member version, and we just keep doing it, and we try to grow the free audience and try to convert people to memberships, and we just keep rolling, which is kind of the strategy.
It's a great thing. I imagine it'd be great for finding sponsors and so forth, because you've already shown the proof of concept is that people are willing to pay for the show, which is a good sign for an advertiser or a sponsor to say, well, people who are listening to the show and the advertised version
we can't sell that idea to the advertisers, because all of those people won't get the ads.
Won't get the ads.
Oh,
but
true.
Somebody,
but they're a fraction of the people who are willing to listen. Right.
It shows the enthusiasm. Also, somebody asked if we've sold ads or whatever. There's a tier. Quick, you've got 26 minutes. For $1,000, you get an ad on the show.
Yeah, and we sold.
It's a Kickstarter tier.
We sold lots of those. Like we're not. All of our advertising for the first couple of months now will be from the Kickstarter campaign.
Oh, that's great.
And there's actually I have two sponsors that couldn't do the Kickstarter for various reasons, but they're gonna also. Well, one of them did back, and they want a second spot, and so I'm going to arrange that. And then another company reached out and was like, we want to do this, but we can't do it this way. Like it's just like not how the business works.
Our corporation cannot back a Kickstarter.
And so
I get it.
We're gonna have like I think at the moment I haven't even checked that tier, and I don't want to do anything on my computer right now because I'm worried it will like start showing things it shouldn't show. But I think we've got like 3 months worth of ads booked at this point. But that is also super great for us, because then when we do start going out to our traditional advertiser pool, we'll have a really good idea of the audience size for the show, because we'll have a couple of months. Because usually with a new podcast, we don't start pitching it to advertisers until there's been quite a few episodes in the can, because you really want to everybody wants numbers, and you don't know them until the show is out and about.
Right. That's one of the reasons why this Kickstarter exists, is that, we have both launched successful podcasts before, several, but it's a real grind at the start, and there's no guarantee of success.
That's just why we didn't launch this show just on its own. That's why we didn't do that.
This was such a heavier lift than the podcast we usually do, that we felt like we can't do this unless we have a more of a guarantee of that people want to get it, and that we can take the time out of our schedules that would be used earning money on some other project to instead work on this. And that it actually is the perfect use, in my opinion, of Kickstarter, which is to say, are you willing to do upfront, say, yes, I will support this for a year. And that has given us the kickstart to be able to do it.
Yeah.
It's
The count for ad spot, which is publicly shown, so I'm not revealing campaign information, is 17 right now. Is the
my
ad spot
word,
item.
that we must have had a few in the last 24 hours, which would make
love it.
sense considering where we are.
I love it.
So that's great. I mean, I also do. I'm sure we only have reputable people, but I have to contact all those people and say, like, what do you want to
Yes.
advertise? Like, this
Yeah,
is
there's
not
a, there's a
question
little
we've had yet.
asterisk there.
So there may be, maybe it's like, I want to advertise these
Also-
pills. It's like, oh, sorry, take your
Also,
money
it's
back.
funny that when you started out, it was like, well, there's not going to be much of physical items. There'll be some levels that have rewards that are physical stuff. And now it's like, nope, you got to fulfill hundreds of things to people.
Oh,
so
it's
congratulations
many,
there.
many,
It's a
many
lot of
hundreds
stuff
now.
Yeah, but it's a good problem to have.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was going to say,
absolutely.
John Gruber texted me the other day and he said, is there like, do you have like $50,000 in dark matter in your campaign? And I had to explain, and this is for all of you out there too who are watching. If you're an upgrade member or and I think if you're a relay member, you can see them in
Oh,
Discord.
he did the analysis. I see.
And if you're a
that's-
Six Colors
That's
member,
funny. John was
there are
doing.
links
Oh.
to the
He's
secret
sitting there. He's got
the
his
secret
little visor
URLs.
on and he's calculating.
Yeah, he's like, how is it that
Like-
there's $50,000 missing when
Yeah.
he's multiplying all the different tiers?
Yeah.
And it's that there
I
are
never
these
thought
friend of
about
the show
that.
tiers
Oh, yeah.
that are invisible.
Oh my
That if
God.
you're a member, and it's things like you get $50 off of this bundle if you know, and there's some savings at the higher levels. So if you haven't
Right.
done them, you still have 20 minutes to do that.
Go find your
Um,
secret URLs.
But that's
That
the
is
secret,
so
yeah.
funny that
That's
John's
amazing.
like,
I never
dark
thought about
matter.
this. Is great
Hang on a minute.
insight. I never thought about somebody doing the math. The Kickstarter's added. Let's talk about their bolting on thing. Like in the last couple of years, they have a new CEO, and they went from like, well, we'll introduce a new feature every 10 years to what if we introduce a new feature every 2 months? But a lot of them are great, like secret URLs, time limited pledges. So you used to be able to do time and quantity. The pledge manager, so it's baroque. So sometimes I think it feels kind of opaque if you're a backer and you're like, wait, what's going on? And I hope they sand that out. But it also means that as somebody running a campaign like you all, it gives you so much more flexibility to address different audiences and get people who are your best, who have already part of your world where they want to be.
That was the idea, and I'm glad you talked about the secret URLs, which of course each one is different, which is incredibly frustrating. There's not like a secret magic gateway that unlocks them all. You have to click on one, and then you can see that one, along with all the other pledge levels, which is very confusing as well. But it's nice because one of our challenges was, how do we say thank you to the people who support Upgrade or Six Colors? And like giving them a membership in Designing California is not, we can't do that, right? We can't just give them away. So what we decided was we will try to give some generous discounts on the more expensive items, the physical items that are essentially like, it's almost a full year membership off a lot of those items. So it's basically like, if you're going to get a pin or an art print or whatever, then basically you're going to get a discount off the membership of the show, because we wanted to say thank you, but we also had to make this economically viable. So we couldn't take the membership.
I mean, the
off.
membership is
So-
already discounted. So Kickstarter CEO Everett Taylor, he got in touch with me to congratulate us early on in the campaign.
That was lovely.
It was on LinkedIn. I'll hold it up to the camera. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't checked my LinkedIn in ever.
Oh, Jason,
so-
I've been tagging you like you wouldn't believe, man. I'm tagging you left, right, and
Oh
center.
man, I've been linked.
Well, because
pretty good.
I've
Yeah,
actually had a bit of a frustration that I've been trying to get LinkedIn to help me with, but it hasn't. Which is that like I do feel like the success of this campaign should have garnered a bit more media interest, and like I've been sending things like press releases and email blasts to lots of journalists, like in our space and outside, like people who write about podcasting, and it hasn't broken through, and I find that to be weird. Like I feel like it feels like an easy story, like an interesting story, this podcast about Apple history, that from two people that you've probably never heard of just raised $300,000. Like, yeah,
I think
but
it's a great story.
but
It's
people
hard-
don't want to write
Hard
it.
time
It
in the media
seems-
business. What I was helping Ben Zotto last year. He funded his book, Go Computer Now, which is
yes.
an amazing,
I
amazing
have that.
book.
That's on my bookshelf too.
It's a great book. Came out really well, and it's a history of Sphere Computers, the personal computer company that sounds like it was made up and in a novel, and someone wrote about it, and then it exists in reality, but is actual real. And we're like, I try to help him with the publicity on it, and we contact, he knows people, I know people, and we're like, here's a computer company. Bill Gates just mentioned it in his autobiography last year. He mentioned Sphere, and we're like, Ben has a whole book about it. No one has ever written about it. He talked to 40 people. It's an incredible thing, and everyone's not very interesting. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess nobody's interested in this stuff anymore. That's kind of the modern media landscape. Is
it's a shame.
there's just not enough people.
Yeah,
interested- not enough
we
people writing
will-
interesting things.
The Go Computer Now, the Sphere, and all of that. There will be. I'm confident in saying that we will find some way to address that on the show or in one of the member bonuses at some point. Because one of the things in writing about this, I talk about this in a few places, is how history gets simplified and flattened because it has to, right? Like there's so much complexity in reality, and then there's just a simple story. And even what we're doing is like simple stories, but they're richer than maybe what you know. The diversity of the personal computer industry in the earliest days is stunning. The fact, we talked about this in the episode, like we're talking about Apple because Apple's the one that made it. But like then I introduced processor technology in the Sol, and Mike's like, I've never heard of this. It's like, well,
No.
that's a bad sign for them in this story, right? Like they're not going to make it. But the Sphere is another one of those computers and groundbreaking in so many ways. And
All
that book,
in one computer, yeah.
and what a pitch too, because the pitch is like, this is one of the most important computers in the history of personal computing, and you're like, I work in this field and have literally never heard of this.
I
And
thought I
it's
was being
because it was
pranked when
mostly in
Ben-
Utah,
Yeah,
and like.
when Ben emailed me about this, I thought, I didn't know him. I thought, am I being pranked? Is this guy got a
This can't be
novel?
real.
And then he's like, no, I found a Sphere on the street in San Francisco, and I picked it up because someone was getting rid of it. I'd never heard about it, and then he fell into a rabbit hole, which is what you guys are doing. You're going to fall into a lot of rabbit holes along the way. There's so many of them. Yeah, because there were like 50 companies. There were so many companies like making bicycles in the 1800s, right? Everybody wanted to make a bicycle or a typewriter. In the 1970s, everybody wanted to make a personal computer, and they did. It's just only, I had an Ohio Scientific, a 6502 based computer in 1980, and it was actually kind of an Apple II competitor at certain levels, very briefly, but didn't last.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were a lot of them, and then they all got stomped out. I mean, a lot of them didn't make it, except for like the TRS-80 and the Commodores and the Apple, but and the Atari. But then when the IBM PC and the PC clones happened, most of them just kind of like died away, and it's kind of a miracle that the Mac didn't at that point.
Well, gents, I have to go. I've previously scheduled an appointment to have my eyes dilated.
Have fun with that.
exciting.
Not for medical reasons, just for fun.
Oh,
No, for
good.
medical reasons. Also.
Kicks for the kicks.
It's just
I love it.
Good luck
Thrill
on the
seeker.
last
Thank you.
15 minutes,
Thank you,
last
Glenn.
17
Thanks
minutes.
for everything.
Thank you,
What an
Glenn.
excellent campaign you've run.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wow. Now I need to fix this.
Now you need to recrop the thing because I'm
Yeah.
help. I'm
All right.
ah.
I'm pleased that you
that
are
was
able to
Glenn.
hang out with me.
Once Glenn said he would do it, I was like, we're gonna have no problem filling this hour. Yeah. Oh, there's multiple mics. I see.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I went to do something in another window a minute ago, and Stage Manager wreaked havoc on the streaming setup.
Oh, that's
All the
yes.
it all just flipped over to the side, just doing its thing.
Nice.
Because I was having some music play in the background, but that seems to have stopped.
Oh,
And so now I'm too scared to go. Well, I'll do it again, so everything's gonna go weird. So like all of the windows go into tiny little windows, because that's just that's the Stage Manager effect.
that's how Stage Manager works.
Yep. And he'll come back again. So we got 15 minutes to go.
We do.
$302,710. You probably heard me
it's-
say this earlier, but like I feel like I'm completely detached from it now. Like those numbers
I did
now,
hear you say that.
like they don't feel like they're
No.
happening to me.
Look. We were hoping against hope that we'd get to 100,000.
That was I think I've said this before. Like we wanted to make 60 because that meant that it made
We could do
sense
it.
economically for you to give the
Yeah.
time that you would need to give.
Right.
But we were like, let's go with 40. This is on Glenn's recommendation for like, you get over the line, like what is the bare minimum, and you'll probably get what you need. And then there was like we would only whisper about the dream of hitting 100.
Mm-hmm.
And like we would talk about it and be like, oh, we got to stop talking about this because we're going to get
Yeah.
too excited about it. And now look where we
Yeah.
are 3 times that. Man.
Well, and then we started setting the stretch goals, and we had a good laugh at setting a stretch goal for live events at 200,000. Which at that point I thought it might happen, and I actually thought I want to do those events regardless.
yeah.
But let's put it on the stretch goal list, and But and I think this is telling. Like there was no new stretch goal after that because we're out of ideas. We don't know. We can't believe these numbers.
Yeah.
We don't understand.
We could
what
have
we're
come up
seeing.
with stuff, but I personally was like, I don't want to commit to anything more. Like we've got
No.
enough to do here, so let's
No.
just like buckle down.
This is all just. But then what happened was the other funny thing is like we had a plan for the last week to get us over the top, and that was like me being on the talk show and during Fireball Link and John's episode being an upgrade and mentioning that on ATP. And it's like we're going to reach some people who haven't seen this before, and that's going to help us get over the top. And of course, instead, what it did is get us from 190,000 to 200 and whatever thousand on the way to 300,000, which is just not. So yeah, it is an out of body experience. It's kind of unreal. And we are very appreciative of everybody who's essentially, it's like a big, what I've been saying is it's weird a little bit because it's like a big book advance or something. We are being paid in advance for our next year's work.
Mm-hmm.
But what's different about it is it's not like, woohoo, won the lottery, go on vacation. It's more like, now we got to deliver. Now the work starts, right?
Also,
now the work
like,
begins.
At some point, like, not because I think that we need to, but I think will be interesting, like in a few months' time, to kind of like talk a little bit about what we're doing with the money, like realistically, because it is like we're not splitting that money in half and then just like going to enjoy it. Like we're amassing more and more expenses. Like next week, Jason, I'm going to be paying over $1,000 in software licenses. Between Asana and Notion for a year, that's what they're going to end up coming out to. And it's like these are the kinds of things that we can use that instead of using Google Sheets because I feel we're comfortable in the money that we've raised, that we're able to do things properly, and that there's like so many little areas where we're able to do this better than we would have otherwise been able to do because of the money that we've raised.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. Is I wrote one of our updates and sort of said this is like what happens now is also like everything just gets a little better in terms of what we're able to put into it, because that's the truth of it, right? It's like the $60,000 version of this show would have been fine, but it would have been the bare minimum.
Yep.
It would have been the bare minimum on all fronts. And it would have been fine, and it might have built an audience, and it might have been good, and we might have been able to grow it over time in terms of what we put into it. But as it goes up, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy Devon Think, and if Glenn will tell me who those people are who will take this book and scan it,
Do that, yeah.
I will do that because that will help my research and investing time and money. I spent some Claude Code money in some of these tools and paying Jamie for the video edit that's going to be more detailed and paying to license images
and all the art we've had made, and there'll be more to come. And
like all of that is to make the show better, including in some invisible ways. Like you said, having proper project management software and using your assistant to help us build the show. Like, we could do it without that, but it would be a mess, and it will be better now and more organized and more disciplined and all of those things.
Like, we kind of, me and you, we won't go into too many details, isn't necessary, but we're splitting the money unevenly because you're putting so much time into the research, right? But because we've raised so much money, I'm able to put more time into the edit, like comfortably, because I can more easily account for the amount of time that I'm going to be putting in. That will make the show better because it's going to be at least in the very beginning, like I'm really like fine tuning it and making it as good as it can be. And because I now have the confidence that I can budget that time of mine very efficiently because of the money that we've raised. So it's like, it's in the same way that we're able to offer more prints and free stickers. It's like you kind of get into an economy of scale at a certain point.
Well,
do you have any treats you're going to buy yourself, though? I have a treat I'm going to buy myself. If you thought of a treat, that's like a little congratulations, look what I've done.
I bought. No is my answer. I did buy. We went to a World Cup game last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess now, and stayed over down there, and then I took Lauren because she'd never been to Apple Park, so I took her to the visitor center, and I bought that, and I wore it on Upgrade. I bought the Apple 50 T-shirt. And I don't think I would have done that other than all the work we've been doing on Apple history. I was like, yeah, I could wear it during Design in California and Upgrade and it'll be fine. And I did that. But I don't have, I don't consider buying, Devon Think a real gift to myself. So I haven't done that. No. What's your treat?
I'm going to buy a 3D printer.
Interesting.
Because I want one. Because something I want to do, I want to find someone who can help create a model of Steve the bear cow.
Steve the bear
and
cow.
I want to 3D print a Steve and put him up here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I expect this thing behind me. There's going to be a lot of Macs in here over time, stuff
probably
because I think it will be better. Like I think I've got to get closer to matching your background. So I'm gonna. I've got like some iPods right down here, but I want to get some other stuff to go in there. I really want a Mac 128K. That's what I want, because to me that is like I want one. I think it will look great, and I want one. They're hard to find. I think maybe I'll just try and get one that doesn't work.
Yeah, I have two back there.
Yeah, I know you do.
Well, it's a 128 and a 512, but yeah.
Yeah, I want a 128. That's what I want.
Yeah, and you can get a floppy emu, and you can do stuff. Play games or whatever.
There is a thing where I would like to get I would like to get a working one because I want to spend time in those versions of macOS. Like I feel like I need, like I did as a kid, but it's not. I haven't done any of this stuff. I know I can do virtualization, and I'm going to do that as well. But like I want to spend more time, kind of like immersing myself in these things. We have 6 minutes to go, by the way, until we are finally released.
Freedom.
Freedom. I don't remember if I said this on the stream or not yet, because we've been going for so long at this point. But like I'm excited for this to be over, because then it's over. Like I don't have this thing I keep checking anymore. It's like it's done, and then I can move on to the next pieces.
The mental model. You've got this. We're maintaining the Kickstarter ongoing campaign, and that part will end. Which is nice.
There is still a lot of.
There's the post campaign that kicks in, but we're already thinking about that. That's the thing, is it's not like we aren't thinking about all of the things that happen after. We're also thinking of the thing that is happening during, and that part will end. Before we get there, I'm going to step away for a second and get some more tea.
Good idea.
So, but here I can clear my throat, and you don't have to make any notes like on Upgrade. Jason clears.
Well, I could make a note, but no one's going to do anything about it. So one of the things that Glenn was really helpful for was like kind of telling us what would happen when the campaign ended. So like Jason went through and tidied up the main page a couple of days ago, so it would make sense, because I didn't know this, but the campaign page, like the story page, it gets locked when the campaign ends, so you can't edit that anymore. But we can still send out updates and stuff, which we'll be doing. We'll be doing a lot of that, I think, because I want to be kind of vocal with people. I want to show people how things are moving along with like the product stuff. I think tomorrow I'm going to order the enamel pins, or at least in the next couple of days, because I'll have a decent idea of those. The prints is going to be a little bit longer because we need to wait for some artwork to come in to lay those out. And then same for stickers too. So we need to wait just a little bit longer to order some of these pieces because we're still finishing stuff. But the prints we need to get done in time to be able to take them to Memphis to sign, but that's more than enough time. Once they actually do, like, the printing of it is so fast. You just got to get in the queue and wait for your time to come up. 4 minutes, Jason. Got
Hello.
4 minutes.
Yeah, checking it down. Amazing.
What a success. You know?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was thinking this morning, I was thinking back to like, you know, talking to some friends before this started and getting the like from a few people. That's a really great idea, but are there that many people that will be interested in this? Like this was like a thing that people was asking me, and my answer kept being, I hope so. I think enough. But yeah, I think we've far surpassed the amount of people that we thought would be interested in this.
I think one of the things Glenn said was, you each brought your 1,000 true fans and then found another 1,000 people.
Yes. Yeah, because Dan Provost said that on Thoroughly Considered as like the Kevin Kelly lives on, but you also brought 1,000 each, and then I mentioned it to Glenn. So interesting question from Jambo Harv. Is there an estimate of what percentage of transactions won't go through? I think Glenn said something like 2%, 2 to 10% is the
Yeah, I think he said the first. Yeah, I think he said that the first one is larger, but then Kickstarter has done a really good job of then doing a retry and reaching out, and that they get the number actually to be down pretty low. So that's good.
Simon says, I know you're big fans of The Rest is History. If you weren't, do you think you would have started this project? No, I don't think so. I think we needed their model to show us how to do it.
The official origin story of Design in California is that when I visited Myke last November for funsies, because I wanted to see the baby and hang out with Myke, and I figured I can work. I always say I can work from anywhere in the world, but I never do. And so I worked in Myke's studio. I was the first official person in residence at Myke's studio, which was fun. And I got to, but after one night after work, maybe it was after we recorded Upgrade, I don't know, we went down the street to a pizza place that was by the train station that I was going to take back to my hotel. And we had pizza, and essentially we ended up just talking about The Rest is History the whole time.
For about an hour, yeah.
Yeah.
We were just,
and that
was the Nelson episodes.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Nelson because I saw Nelson's coat. I actually went down. I was literally listening in the shower at the hotel to Rest is History, and they were talking about how there was currently an exhibit on at the National Maritime Museum where you could see Nelson's coat. And I thought to myself, wait,
I can go there.
That's here.
I could go there.
It's in Greenwich. And then I thought, Myke works very close to Greenwich. Yeah. And I was like, I could literally go there and then walk to Myke.
Oh, we're into a seconds countdown now.
Oh.
110 seconds to go. We're currently at 303,030. I now don't want anyone to give any more money because it's 303030. Unless somebody gives 200, get to 50. But
sure.
I wonder, do you think anyone else? We've got 90 seconds left. 3,277 backers. I wonder as well.
What a ride!
What is going?
I mean, it's only we only went to July 1st because I was again worried that we wouldn't give people enough time to put us over the top with that Monday episode of Upgrade and its podcast, so people listen over the next day, especially. So I put it to today, and then after we funded, I'm like, God, why did I make it so long?
All right, we're approaching now. We have 1 minute left to go in our Kickstarter campaign.
Amazing.
The longest month. This has been such a long. I was like, I also went to
WWDC.
California.
Yeah,
it's gone California. Red. It's gone red now as we're counting down 50 seconds left.
Oh man, I love it. 49. 30330. Maybe that'll be it. Now some stinker's gonna come in with a
$1.
With a $1 or something. Yeah, some stinker. Well, we'll take that. We'll take their money. That'll show them.
Yeah. We've had the last laugh then. 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're getting down there. It's good. What a ride. Look, bottom line, it is absolutely terrifying, even after doing this for a living, to put yourself out there and say,
yes,
really support this thing we want to do, give us money, and have to do it in public.
10. Yep.
So thanks to everybody for
5,
being so gentle with
4,
us.
3, 2, 1. And it is done. Oh, a little bit of confetti went off. There's some confetti going off on the page.
Oh.
And it's, I think, yes, it ended at 30. 3030. That's where it ended. 3,277 backers pledged. $303,030 to help bring this project to life. Jason,
Oh yeah.
high five.
Look at the
to
fireworks.
you. Phew. You're leaving me
Oh,
hanging,
and we've
Jason.
converted over. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Reciprocal 5.
Look at us.
Wow. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Just
it's done. It
yeah,
is
we
done.
now the work begins.
It
But
is
yes, that's great. Yeah, we're in
The work has already begun.
the work has already begun. Yeah, and the page just ticks right over to the post support page.
I haven't seen what it looks like. Let me see.
So the
Where's
post support page.
the late pledging thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
One of the problems with it is that you for a lot of stuff you have to be logged in to see it, and I can't be logged in to see it because I'm already logged in as the owner of it.
Yeah, I'm logged in as well. It also says,
Oh, yeah, there
okay.
it is.
I refreshed. Yeah. This
Yeah,
project
so-
successfully funded, but you can still late pledge for available
Right. So
rewards.
if people are coming late, they can still pay $20 and get the wallpaper pack and just give us money, which is great. We love it. And the founding producer tier is there at $70, which
yeah.
is the standard relay annual price.
Yep.
So because
screenshot of
we're not
this
set
page,
up,
because that number
we're not
will
set up
change
on relay
now.
yet.
Like, because someone's going to do it, right? Like
Yeah.
303, like that number will change because when the late pledges go into the pledge total,
I think so.
they do, yeah.
But we'll
mentioned.
officially 303030 is our final 31-day
Yep.
thing. But yeah, so that way if somebody kind of comes in late and says what's all this?
Hello,
and
Governor.
like, I missed the window, but I'd like to become a member.
Yeah.
We can point them there until the memberships open up at Relay.
I
But,
got Stephen to do that, thinking I needed that, but we don't need that. And so sorry, Stephen, if you're listening. Because
Yeah.
I had gotten confused because when eventually we will point this page to the membership sign up,
Right.
but we don't need to do that for the late pledges thing. I got confused about what late pledges was. It's different to the like go buy it thing you can do.
Right.
So Mattresses, who made the texture background, is so nice. That's our designer JD.
JD.
at Relay, who did the kind of, I would say, the Kickstarter campaign artwork, which you see, which is the max. But also we'll be using JD's art throughout the history of the show.
Yeah.
Because JD made all the era stuff. Yeah, Stephen, sorry I made you do that. I thought I needed you to do that, but
Oops.
turns out I didn't need you to do that. But we do need it eventually, so
We'll
done
need
now.
it later.
Oh, so this is a good stat from Tech Floyd at 757% funded.
Yeah. 757
Wow.
303030 3277 backers. And the breathtaking part for me is that we were floating around on the 22nd at a really nice number, like 192,
Yeah.
and it looked like we were going to coast up to like about 200.
Yeah.
And then something happened, and it
Just
probably
took
was a
off.
combination of me being on the talk show and during Fireball and ATP, and also just the what Glenn says, which is campaigns kick in the last few days.
But
And we've had a few like
$17,000
$17,000 days.
Because what a Kickstarter campaign usually does is it coasts like we were coasting and then goes boop. But
Yeah.
we didn't. It just was like, hey, what about another gear? And then we just
What if we
carried on.
ramp it up? Unbelievable.
Yep.
Well,
So next up, we're working now on season 1. We actually have already recorded episode 2 of season 1. We recorded that at the same time we recorded episode 1 because Designing California will launch with the series that we're calling Apple's Mac OS Crisis Part 1, which is John Siracusa. So if you listen to Upgrade, you heard that what will be episode
the first
1.
one.
So the feed will launch sometime in August, and it's going to have everything in it. So episode 609 of Upgrade will be in there. All of the Rise of the Apple II and Road to the Apple II, we call it both things, will be in there. And episode 1 of Apple's macOS Crisis, that will all launch. And then in September, we're hoping first week of September, will be the first new episode of Designing California, and that will be the continuation of that series. So I'm currently editing part 2 because we recorded that, and Jason is writing the scripts for
I wrote
the next.
part
episodes.
3. I have to write part 4. I'm also trying to get the video files off to Jamie to produce of the ones that are going to go in the feed.
But what I'm wondering is if it will actually only be 4 parts. Like that's the. I think it won't be. I think it will be
only
more
John
than 4.
Syracuse knows for
Yeah.
sure.
Because the part 1 and 2 was one part, and we went for so long that it's now 2 parts. So I wouldn't be
And
surprised.
if so, then we'll have a mega series.
Yeah,
and that's
I wouldn't
fine.
be surprised if we launch with we have 6 episodes done. And there is a benefit to us to allow that to happen, because it makes our production schedule better. Because if we end up with 6 episodes in series 1, then we have an extra 2 weeks to produce series 2.
Yeah, and also important, one of the advantages of having this kind of like extended production schedule is there are busy times of the year for us, like say September,
Yeah. And
where our bandwidth will probably be greatly reduced. So if we've got stuff in the can and we're a couple weeks ahead, that makes it a lot easier to get through the really busy time and then pick it up after the busy time fades away a little bit. So
Look at John put the speaking emoji in the chat.
Yeah.
And Stephen's right. There is 17 parts. This is why a lot of things that we're going to do, we're not going to tell the whole story of that thing.
Oh no.
We're going to go up to a certain point, and then we're going to move on to something else.
So the OS 10 crisis, right? So it's about System 7 and Copeland and the Blue Meanies and Pink
and Gershwin
and all the things that failed, which is great because you can watch John. I talk about it, and John nods. This is in episode 2. John nods knowingly, ruefully, and Myke is like, "What?
Yeah, it's really
Can't
good.
believe it."
I'm halfway through that edit, and that episode's really fun.
And then the next one is about B.
Yep.
And Jean-Louis Gasset, who is a key character in several dramatic moments in Apple's history.
I can't wait to do
JLG.
Some future episodes on JOG.
Yeah, and then that's what's planned as episode 3, and then episode 4, which I haven't written yet, but that is a little bit about next step and next, but not too much because I envision we are going to do a whole thing about. We're going to do a whole series about Steve Jobs getting kicked out of Apple. And then obviously there's the great book, Steve Jobs in Exile, that came out by Jeffrey Kane. At some point, I want to tell some version of that story about what Steve Jobs did when he was gone. And then the back end of that story is what did they bring back and how did those negotiations work? And right now, my OS 10 series 1 concept is that it basically ends with Steve Jobs on stage at Macworld Expo. So it's like the return of Steve Jobs. Now that it may be, Myke, you're right. It may be next is episode 4 and the return of Steve Jobs is episode 5, but there'll be a good break there.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole other series that is about making OS 10 happen because I think it's one of the most consequential things that Apple ever did. And one of the hardest things that anybody at Apple ever did, especially Avi Tavanian was a huge part of that.
Yep.
And that's a whole series onto itself. And then I envision
I want to do, all of the OS 10 releases.
Well, this is what I was going to say is the original concept for this last year for me was that I was working on a thing that was going to be kind of like a follow-up to 20 Macs for 2020, and it was going to be about OS 10 releases. And we were going to start at the beginning, and we were going to go through them all, me and John and Stephen Hackett.
Mm-hmm.
And some version of that will remain, right? Because there's stories to be told about OS 10 for a while there. And that's a fun little kind of ongoing series, but it's going to take multiples.
OS 10 is going to be like our World War One.
Yeah.
Where we will come back to OS 10 every year for forever until we catch up. Some releases there might not be so much to say. Maybe sometimes we do here's Leopard and Snow Leopard or whatever. Although we know Snow Leopard's going to be its whole big thing. But yeah,
we'll see,
man. And and then from there, I think we have an idea for season 3, but we've got to see series 3. We're calling them series, right? Series.
I don't even know what we're calling them yet.
They're
we'll have
they're
to-
called series in Notion.
Okay.
Maybe we call
Yeah.
them that. Or series or season.
Yeah, the series. Yeah, the series. So there are these blocks of episodes, and then there are series, and the series is like Origin of Apple as a series. So we
Yeah.
do a bunch of those over time. We're not doing them sequentially. And then what we'll try to do is make like a page or a feed or something where you can just, if you want to listen to all of them or see what all of them are, you can do that.
Yeah, there is going to be a companion
hop
website
around.
of some description in the future that
Yeah,
will collect
That will
up
also
some of the
happen.
bits that we're doing, and we're going to use like the podcast services that have playlists. We're going to do that. So I know YouTube does and Apple does. I think
Right.
Maybe Spotify does.
The ones that I would talk about now that I think are going to happen is I want to do an iPod series this fall because it's the 25th anniversary of the iPod.
Yes.
And early next year, we will do a thing about the iPhone because it will be the 20th anniversary of the iPhone announcement.
So that will probably be what, Project Purple,
Yeah.
right? So like the story that takes
The
us
origin
to
of the iPhone.
the beginning of the iPhone.
Yeah.
And maybe up to the announcement.
Maybe.
Yeah. I
don't
want to
know.
do something very special to talk about the keynote.
Yeah, that may be its own little thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got that, and then our list is enormous, right? Like, I mean, there are so many.
It goes on and on.
Whenever I have an idea, I just put it in there, and
Yeah.
there are so many things we can do. That's the thing. Is like, how many stories are there to tell about Apple? I had that moment. I was like, oh my god, do we have enough? It's like we have
50 years.
so many stories
Yeah.
to tell. Like I know this is a totally random one, but I wrote it down the other week, which is there's a whole episode, if not series, about Myst, the game,
Okay.
which was made in HyperCard. It was a huge thing. We can talk about the CD-ROM era. Like, there's a whole thing just about that.
Yep.
That's sitting
I
out
was
there.
like, I want to do like a selection of episodes about Pixar, for example. Like
Yeah,
there are these
interesting.
related things too that will be fun to dig into. Pixar, there'll be some stuff
Yep.
that we will do for fun. Like you'd
Laser
mentioned, I
Rider.
think on the talk show, like we want to do Apple and Microsoft, but that means we also have to tell an abridged version of
Yes.
the history of Microsoft.
Yes, that's actually something I'm looking forward to, and I'd like to do relatively in the first year.
Yeah.
Is I want to talk. I have this idea for a series about, and it's just an idea, but it's about the relationship between Apple and Microsoft because it's so complex
Yep.
and has changed so much over time. But in true I would say designed in California fashion, because this is how we are going to do things here. If we're going to talk about Apple and Microsoft, right, there needs to be like an entire episode that is just about the founding of Microsoft.
Yep.
Which I don't know a lot about, so I'm going to have to get a whole different set of books and stuff and to read all about it. But I feel like you need that, right? You need to, you can't just come in and say, y'all know Microsoft, right? You can't do that. That's not what we're here for.
We also have Apple and Google.
Yeah, same kind of deal.
Yeah. Because we've got, like, Apple Maps would be a big thing.
Yeah. All right. Congratulations, Myke.
Congratulations, Jason.
Now the work begins.
Yeah. Well, as I said, we had already started. And,
Yeah, yeah.
we only really stopped for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
For WWDC.
I didn't. The big thing is I stopped writing scripts.
Yeah.
I wrote enough scripts to get us through. Literally, I wrote that 4-episode series. I didn't even write the script that we did with John. I wrote last year or the beginning of this year. I wrote it. I was writing it when I got the call to be on Jeopardy, and then I put it down. And then this whole project happened, and then I had that thought, which is like, we could record that the 2 episodes of script that I've written with John, and we did that. So that actually predates the other series. That was our pilot script back in the day before this was even what it was for. That's what I stopped doing because that's a lot of work. That's many days of me buried in books. So that's the stuff that I gotta start picking up. But I already wrote one last week, so we're on the path there too.
And I'm halfway through editing episode 2.
Nice.
Kind of messed up.
And I keep
one
adding
up.
features to the my video tool for doing this, which
Yep.
is bananas. There's a whole new. I'll tell that story sometime too. You'll do your video where you stream and edit, and I'll do my video where I show this ridiculous tool
Yeah.
that I built.
Yeah, we
All
did
right.
it. We did it. This is it. We're there now. Thank you so much. If you're back
303030.
the Kickstarter campaign, I kind of can't believe that it's happened, but it's happened, and now we're gonna get working. And in the fall, hopefully in early September, that's what we're targeting. There'll be a podcast for you to listen to.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Bye, Mike.
Bye bye.